All right, today's webinar is the NetDocs AI Assistant. I won't know if I'd say nervous is the word, but this is, the first one of these that I've done. So I'm getting it off there. I've probably done, and I'm not making this up, maybe 2,000 Windows NetDocs Windows training, probably something like 300 Mac trainings, a couple hundred set builder, a couple hundred collab space. So I've done a lot of these webinars, but we've got to keep me on my toes and try to do something new. And especially when you work with a company like NetDocs, there's always something new coming out here. Before we start, and we will jump back into this PowerPoint, but we'll go over the usual things that we always do to keep us up to date. NetDocuments updates. I don't think there will be anything new. Oh, actually, this did update today or yesterday, so there is something new. All right, so we have, this was June 19th, so what's going on here? There's two errors. A welcome email not being sent after group creation. Oh, I'm glad I know about that. Most people don't have to worry about it because you're using single sign-on. Error when sending welcome email via cabinet security. So that's just a bug fix. I don't think anyone has to really worry about that. There are some updates on my end. And I know there should be a P in the seamless updates here. We're doing AI assistant training right now. Then we'll have an office hours next week. That's for anyone to ask me questions about anything about NetDocs. Great for new users. We'll do a collab space training August 6th. That's one of those that I've done a whole bunch of times that I'm comfortable with. This one right here, and this is shouldn't be released yet, but August 13th, I'm going to do an webinar for basically your IT companies on how to update NetDocs for a Windows computer. New versions of ND Office and ND Mail are out. Get a lot of questions. How do I up them? How does auto updates work? So a email will be sent out to NetDocs admins and any IT company that we've dealt with. So if we were dealing with your IT company, we're going to do a webinar on, hey, here are best practices for updating NetDocs on a Windows computer. How do you push those out? When should you do it? Things like that. So that's the new one that we're doing. August 13th, and the emails haven't been set up yet. This thing hasn't been spell checked, and this has got to be cleaned up a little bit. So we will work on that. NetDocs tips here. There's some new blog posts. This was one that I solved yesterday. So I try not to get too deep in this, but if you've ever run into an issue where you're using email link or deliver a secured link in Outlook and it puts in a weird code, there's a fix there. Also, a blog post about how to organize workspaces. Like you can actually go in and customize your workspace, how you can move stuff around and things like that. How to deal with your Echo folder in NetDocs where you can kind of see where stuff is saved, explains how that works. Those are all three new blog posts, I think, since the last time we talked. So that's the new stuff. Let's jump into the AI Assist now. Now, and I'm going with 90% of my webinars, maybe 70, cover just regular NetDocs. The Legal AI Assistant is a new feature released really this year, okay? And so not everyone has it. So I want to be clear right now, and I'll go over it in this webinar, but your firm may not have purchased this. So I'm telling you right now, your firm may not have purchased the AI Assistant, so you may not have it. Your firm also, which we found out, may have purchased it and no one set it up. We'll go over that too. So I just want you to know before you spend any more time here, this is not a sales thing. I'm recording this video again to give to firms to be like, hey, this is how the AI assistant works, to learn what questions people have about it. And these things we'll do these yearly, semi-annually, and they will get better and better and better, but you may not have it. Just to stop and go over kind of the NetDocs journey into AI really started when a product around 3 years ago, yeah, because I was at that ILTA in DC. 3 years ago, NetDocs purchased a company called Afterpattern, rebranded it Pattern Builder, and that is their document generation tool. So it's used to create documents. Then NetDocs released Pattern Builder Max. Pattern Builder Max is their AI tool, which allows you to build different, what they call apps, to do different AI type things. And the third thing they've released is the Legal AI Assistant. The Legal AI Assistant doesn't really require you to build any apps. It's just built into NetDocs, and you can use it to query documents and ask them questions. We will go over 3 examples today on how it's actually used. You can ask questions about a document. You can ask questions about multiple documents, but it's supposed to be easier. There isn't really a ton of setup. Like, we set it up, we do a training, and then you have it and you can use it. Pattern Builder Max, there's canned studio apps that we'll add for you, and then people will want to build on top of those apps and stuff like that. That is just a little more heavy lift. The Legal AI Assistant is just supposed to be easy. Okay. Now, I'm going to head off. No one's asked this question yet, but how much does it cost? And this is I don't work for NetDocs. This is my savior. I honestly don't know. There's new ND packages where you can look at getting the AI assistant. If you don't have it, or maybe if you're like, Craig, will you just let us know if we have it? I'll let you know. So send me an email. If you're like, hey, I'm interested in this, will you put me in touch with the person to do that? I will take care of that for you, or our company will. Okay. But, or maybe you look at this and you're like, I don't want this at all. So you could then leave it alone, and we've made it easy as well. But it's good to know what's out there. So how do you know if you have the Legal AI Assistant? First off, you have to be a NetDocs repository administrator. So in NetDocs, when you go and you say hi, so for me, it says, hi, Craig. And then I have the admin option. And when I go in there, I will go to settings and information. And under the information tab, it'll have a checkbox next to Legal AI Assistant. Also, I feel like really good to go in there and just see what you have. A lot of people just don't know, or maybe, there's been some turnover at the firm and we're just unaware of what NetDocs options we have. So when you purchase the Legal AI Assistant, you should see it in there. Next, okay, now that we've purchased it, how does it get turned on? I will explain how we do it, and we will totally set this up for you. You could set it up yourself. It's completely up to you. In users and groups in the admin console. So again, you have to be users and groups. We will create a group called the Legal AI Assistant. Okay. And then once we create that group, we will add who should be able to use the Legal AI Assistant. I will tell you, because you're going to ask me, what do firms do? Some firms let everyone do it. Other firms lock it down, especially when they're exploring AI, to, hey, have these group of people use this. Okay. but don't have everyone. So you create a group, Legal AI Assistant, you add users. In the group settings, there's a little box here. Members are allowed to use the Legal AI Assistant. So we check that off. The next thing we will do is go to each cabinet and add that group. Okay. So we add the Legal AI Assistant. We give it no default access. I've actually seen it that I haven't had to do this, but that's what the instructions say. So that's what we're going to do here. And realistically, we are adding the Legal AI Assistant really to the client cabinet. It's not something, it could be used in any cabinet. Maybe we'll get turned on for. For the most part, 75% of the firms we set this up for, we're adding it to just the client cabinet. All right. Is anyone using this? So I will also point out that in the admin console, you are going to actually get a AI assistant usage, and it's actually a log that you can download to see who is using what. So it's assistant, who's the user. Here are the tokens. And so again, this is something that happens when you purchase the product, and it's something that I need to know more about. When you do something with the Legal AI Assistant, you get a certain amount of tokens from NetDocs that you can use per month. It's just showing you how many tokens you are using. Okay. It's also showing you what model we're using. So this is GPT-4, and you have all this information, what cabinet, who was using it, what app. So this is something that you can download just to see and have that information. So you have these AI usage logs that are there as well when you purchase the product. And I will also point out here that this gets turned on for the Legal AI Assistant, but it's also for Pattern Builder Max as well, where you can get that. So it'll tell you what standard AI model you're using. There are options to configure your own AI models. I haven't gotten into that part yet. I think that's maybe something we'll look at doing for our customers. Right now, we're just using what NetDocs given, so that GPT-04. So that's everything on the admin side. Now, this is the part where we're going into what do you need to know to use the Legal AI Assistant? And realistically, it's going to be, and I'll get to a nerd term here, but prompt engineering, which we are all just going to have to get a lot better at. Okay. So, how do you ask questions and get answers? Now, if you're using ChatGPT, OpenAI, any of their products, you have probably started asking questions. But I think this is something that everyone really should take a couple of classes on prompt engineering. And we'll go over some examples here because I'm going to ask it some questions. But this is something that NetDocs has taught us. So I'm just regurgitating. They call it race. So role, who are you? Like, are you a lawyer? You can put this when you ask the question. What do you want it to do? Do you want to summarize a document? Do you want it to compare two documents together? Do you want it to rewrite a document? You need to start learning on how to be specific when you ask questions and not super generic, because super generic questions don't really get good results, but very specific ones do. Context. So I need terms in this lease agreement. I need the meeting minutes summarized as specific as possible. And what are the expectations here? What are you expecting to get out of it? As we move on, and realistically, I think this is a good place for Optiable on our just generic blog to start creating some posts on just prompt engineering sort of stuff that we're seeing lawyers use. Resource wise here, let me see if I have here. I don't. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, I do. So let me put this in the chat right now, because there's a couple of things on prompt engineering. So this is one article that I find just useful. Okay. And this was recommended by my friend Ernie Svensson, Ernie the attorney. And maybe I'll have what I'm really thinking is I should just get Ernie to jump on and do a webinar with all of us on ways to create prompts. But this goes over, I find this is really useful on how to come up with good prompts. Let me just paste this in the chat here, this article. Come on. Let's just do all these because I've got a couple articles here. I'm doing a presentation on an AI and I can't get copy and paste to work. It's great. So let me see if I can copy it from the actual page then. Yay. There's some there. And then let's just go to and do this because this is the easier way to get to it. NetDocuments prompt. We'll just Google that. All right. So NetDocs has an article as well, which I find useful about prompting. Again, this is the sort of stuff that we have to learn now when we're talking about AI products. So those are two resources I just put in the chat. Ideally, I'm thinking towards the end of the year, I'll get my friend Ernie on here because he knows way more about this than me and go over, maybe we do a webinar on great legal prompts for looking at documents and things like that. All right. All right. So tips to actually build prompts, but I know we actually have to get into it. How secure is this thing? Okay, so this is, I think that one of the reasons where NetDocs is probably a little bit ahead of the game. Any of the AI that you are using with NetDocs, NetDocs has gone in and signed agreements with Microsoft to basically say no human can look at this because we're taking an actual legal document of your client, okay, and putting it into this AI. So they've made the agreement. No one can look at this, and it's not used for any of their training models. So that's in place to make sure our client's data is completely confidential. All right, so let's go over and let's jump into our examples here. Now, what I have done in NetDocs is I have created in my training matter, I've got 3 examples that we're going to use. The other thing I want to point out here is once you have this turned on, you're going to see the little Ask AI right here. But when we come in here as well, what we're going to end up doing is using the Ask AI here in the power bar. Once you get this turned on, the Ask AI will show up here. It is being used in the power bar. There's actually no way of getting rid of it. They're putting it up front and center here. So let's look at our first example. I'm going to check the box next to these 2 documents, okay? And our first example here is summarize. So this is a litigation, something to do with drums. So please, in these 2 documents, summarize how the drums were handled here. So first off, summarize, we're telling it exactly what we want. Handled, stores, or deposed according to each witness. Were there any concerning practices? That is a really good question. So we're going to check these two off. We're going to come over to Ask AI, and then it is going to add the documents here. Now there's pre-canned stuff already built in here. I'm going to ignore that. Okay. What we're going to do is I'm going to paste the actual question, for time's sake, we got this already ready. All right. So once the two files are added here, you're seeing the AI assistant. We're going to come over here. We've got these two depositions, and it's going through these depositions. All right. There you go. All right. So that is going in there. Again, let's look at the question we just asked this here. Summarize how the drums were handled, stored, or disposed according to each witness. Were there any concerning practices? And then so it broke it down by each witness. Okay. So each one. And then were there any concerning practices? So, and it's taken, these were come out of these two testimonies. Now over here, we have a copy. So we could copy that and paste it somewhere as well. There is the ability to name this thread. So we can save it in there. So we can always refer back to it. And then that's copying and pasting it there. So that's how the copy works. Now, we're not done here because I want to just go through here. Extract the most legally significant admissions from either deposition. So again, we've already got our two files here. Loaded. All right. So again, it's going through these documents that I just uploaded in here. See, so this is the actual entire deposition that we have here. And it's going through. And so how many pages? I mean, this document's 216 pages. Okay. So I should probably be clear on that on the actual data we're using. Let's see how big this one is. Yeah, this is 75. So it's chunking through about 500 pages of documents. All right. So determine whether the witness implicates the U.S. military in sending the hazardous drums. Please provide quotes. So again, because we've already got these in here, we're going to now ask that question. Again, is it taking a lot of time? I don't know. I mean, it's 600 documents, 600 pages. I feel like it's quicker than a human being here. And so we do have the option to open the document, view the profile, or preview the document here as well. Flag statements suggesting environmental violations or red flags at the site. So again, now this is where you would be typing it in here. Obviously, I've just prepared this to show over like examples of using it. All right. Now, again, this is all being saved, and I would give this thread a name so I could save it so I could come back and see all this stuff here. And let's go with our last one here. Write a brief memo, and we defined what 200 words summarizing what the deposition's real about contaminating information. So again, there you go. I don't know. Was that more than 200? Maybe let's just hit copy, AI responsible. So again, using that copy functionality here, this is where I could paste that into a document here. There is the memo. All right, so that's example one, and maybe we just do two of these and then open it up to questions here. So example one was a litigation example, okay? Let's go to transactional. All right, so we're going to come over here to our transactional folder now, because again, like I keyed this up here. This is kind of like how I do set builder training. Got this up here. All right, so we're going to come over, and I first want to select all 5 documents here. All right, because that's what I want to work on. Next thing I'm going to do is come over to Ask AI. Now it's going to take it a second. All 5 of these documents need to get imported in here. All right, so there's 3, 4, 5. Now, once they're added, I don't really need to wait, but I'll paste this. Okay, identify which of the 5 precedents actually contain a non-compete and or a non-solicit clause. It's like the Jeopardy music here. I don't know why the 5th one is the one that took a bunch of time. All right. I mean, the good thing is once they're loaded in there, then that you ask usually seem to go pretty fast. I mean, the last one we had 2 documents that were around what, like 700 or 800 pages. This one here. All right. All right. So we asked, identify which of the following precedents actually contain a non-compete, non-solicit clause. So then it's going through BM Technologies Group, Red Hat Holdings, GPO plus, okay, Victor right here and here. So includes references to non-disclosure, non-compete, specifically mentions a non-competition agreement, contains general acknowledgement that includes a non-compete agreement, includes both a non-compete and non-solicit clause, and contains both a non-complete and non-solicit clause there. So pretty good. Now we're going to come over here, identify the most restrictive precedent. Okay, so identify the most restrictive precedent, extract out the exact language, and consider whether you should align your provision with it. Compare it to other precedents and identify what might be missing. Again, that is super specific on what you want it to do. So we're going to paste that in here. And I think what I've seen some firms start doing is building kind of like prompting libraries. like kind of in workflow when they get a document, hey, ask it. And this is where I think you really have to play around here to figure this out. Okay. The most appeared from the Red Cat Holding Executive Employment Agreement. All right. And then it goes over and it's just telling you what is the most restrictive. And it's comparing it now so out of these 5 agreements, it found the one that it thought was the most restrictive, and then it's comparing it back to the other ones and explaining why this one is the most restrictive compared to the other ones. And then it's telling you, hey, this agreement is missing other stuff that are in these agreements. All right. Now, let's come over here. All right. Draft the most comprehensive non-complete and non-solicit provision using all identified precedents. Check it against the results from task number 2 to see if anything is missed, and so incorporate it. And so that was the question number 2. Now I'm going to hold that off because I did definitely do these this would be, well, no, it would be task number 2. Let's just see here because we did do it in these orders here. Because we can look in here and see. So we have then this identify, that's the first one. Here's second. So we'll paste this in here. Now let me just scroll down to the very bottom here. And again, I know when we do this, I'm like sitting here, I'm like, oh, this is taking so much time. I mean, is it really taking a lot of time compared to what we're asking it to do and compared to what would happen if we asked a human being to do it? All right. So this is comprehensive. We're building this together out of these 5 to build the best. And we're seeing here. I just want to, we're going to go over one more example because I don't want to bore everyone here, unless this is fascinating. I mean, I do find this fascinating on how good this stuff is starting to really get to be. Let's come over to example 3 here. I'm not going to go through all these, but this one, draft an email to your manager containing the summaries. Okay. So what we're going to do here is, again, we're going to come over. We're going to go over to Ask AI. So we've selected all of these. So we're adding all 5 of these in here. Now you do have with the AI Assistant this button right here, which pops everything opened. This is your history of everything that you've done in here. And this is where you should really start labeling these threads so you know exactly what you were doing here. So it's keeping all this information. It's telling you how many files were loaded, that sort of thing. Let me just paste this in here. I hope everyone, while we're waiting, had a good either Canada Day or July 4th last week. I thought I would have a easy week, but I guess everyone still wanted to get stuff done. All right, draft an email here. And so again, what we've done is we've clicked on the expand button here to kind of expand it. So this is what we're seeing, the whole AI. All right. So there's only one license agreement in there. There it goes. All right. So again, I hope this was useful. Let's see here. That you will cover today rather than cut and paste. You can export full files for download. I've tried, but when I click on the link, there's an error message here. So I did do the copy here. Let's see. We can, so the preview. Let's go to the options here. All right. So I'm going to have to find out the answer to that question. So I see it in the chat here. I'm not sure why we can't cover today rather that you can export full files for download. What you're talking about, Marie, is that you can the actual chat or the documents in NetDocs themselves. All right, I'll find out the answer. That'll be the first blog post we put out there because I don't know the answer to that question, so I need to figure out how to do that. And I'm not going to waste everyone's time here. Um, Questions, thoughts, any other questions or thoughts about any of the AI assistant? I mean, this is kind of what I want to go over. We've got some stuff in the Q&A. Okay, never use Pattern Builder Max. What's the difference with that in the AI assistant? Okay, so the answer is Pattern Builder Max is a much more heavier lift. Okay. Pattern Builder Max has all these apps that you can create. They do have around 10 to 12 pre-canned apps. And then they have all these applications that you can actually create that do different things. Like one of them's compare two documents, one of them's a more in detailed summary. I think because AI is so new, Pattern Builder Max is really powerful. Maybe a little more lift, more training, more um, time with a consultant like me, where so Pattern Builder Max is totally using AI. However, it's just there's more work involved, maybe a little more powerful, but more work involved. The whole idea was the AI assistant is make it super easy. And I think you've seen that today. It's like select a document, click on the AI assistant, and then ask it something. The AI assistant is made to be just a little bit easier for everyone to get for more day-to-day use. And then Pattern Builder Max. And that's like we've done Pattern Builder webinars before. We'll do more Pattern Builder webinars. We will probably end up doing a Pattern Builder Max webinar towards the end of the year, but just a bigger project. Okay. AI assistant's just supposed to be easy. Like if your firm purchases it, I will get together, I'll ask some questions, I'll do a 1 hour training with your firm, but then y'all can really just start running with it. There's nothing else to set up. It's set up super easy. It's really easy like that. Can Copilot be integrated with NetDocs? And what would be the difference between using that and the NetDocs AI assistant? Um, that's also a fantastic question. The NetDocs Copilot integration is coming out. What would the differences be? That's another blog post. All right. Sorry, I'm mining you all for questions here. Usually I can answer a lot of the questions in this one. I'm gonna have to find out, but will if you just go to NetDocs tips. So let me just come over here to so we will have all these answered. I'm gonna paste this in the chat. I will have all these answered tomorrow. All right. Is it AI assistant same thing as using ChatGPT except that it's not as private? Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's a good way of saying it here. All the documents that we have fed to Microsoft, okay, to ask these questions, Microsoft did not, no human looked at them. They're not used in any of their training models or anything like that. There's no data left in Microsoft. Once we get the value back, it's all removed from Microsoft. Whereas if you're using ChatGPT, you know, you put that legal document in there, that document is in there. Like it's like you've put that document out into the public. It's used to train models and stuff like that. I mean, that is kind of the big difference. Okay, trying to use the AI assistant did not work. It's available, but in trying to use it, it just spins and spins and does not open. Does that mean that? Yeah. So, I mean, realistically, and I've seen this is the thing that's happened. And again, new product, right? So, if you have the AI assistant and you just need help setting it up, why isn't it working? Okay. Did anyone create here are the questions? Did anyone create the group? Jane, are you a member of the group? Has the group been added to the cabinet? And when we created that group, did we check allow this user to use AI assistant? Once we do all of that, then it will totally work. But yeah, if it just spins, it might not have been set up correctly. And again, I would take it easy, take a small document and edit. But the thing here is anytime that I'm doing training or anything, I'm using the same NetDocs that you're using. So, and honestly, this is the worst time to use NetDocs right now, which is why do we schedule all the meetings at 1 p.m.? We scheduled Eastern, all of our webinars at 1 p.m. because that's when everyone from the East Coast to the West Coast is at work, which also means that's when the system has the most load on it too. Not the not the most ideal thing to do, but it seems to work pretty well. So your expectation on speed should be the expectation on speed that we have as well. Because like I put real live stuff in the system. None of it's we're not just throwing up pictures here. We're actually using it. So if it's just spinning, it I'm gonna guess it's probably not set up correctly. All right. Let's see here. I think I've answered these questions. But there's going to be blog posts on these. Okay, so blog posts, difference between Pattern Builder Max and AI Assistant. That's a blog post. Copilot and NetDocs. That's a blog post. Um, and then is using the AI assistant the same as what's the difference? Why wouldn't I just put this into ChatGPT? I feel like that's also a blog post. And if you've seen, we've been regularly putting them out there. Answer about spinning, that will be a thing. If it's, we need to figure out, Jane, and send me an email. If it's not working, we'll check to make sure it's set up correctly because then we can answer that question. And then another blog post about downloading the documents. So why can't we download instead of just copy? And I'll figure out the answer to that. Does anyone else have any questions? All right. Well, this is this is a new topic for me. So we will probably do another one of these in November. Maybe November, maybe January. Um, Send me your honest feedback, okay? Because this is where, like, I've been doing document management software. I'm 45. I've been doing document management software um, since I was 22. I've been doing AI for a year and a half now, so this is just it's all new. So the other thing is if you're interested in getting a demo of the AI assistant, um, let me know and I can get you in touch with those people at NetDocs to do those demos as well. And really be specific. It's not good enough when people come like, I want to use AI. I'm like, what exactly do you want to use it for? Because then it's like, I want to compare these two depositions. I want to extract this information out. Then we can really show you how powerful it is. All right, everyone. I hope you have a good day. Okay, next week, I'm not selling you anything. I'm just answering your NetDocs questions. So next week, good office hours. We've got some stuff coming in later as well. Newsletter will come out at the end of the month, and then we're also sending an IT newsletter out to only NetDocs admins and IT support on how to update NetDocs on everyone's computer. Stay cool out there and have a great summer.